how to rekindle love, how to start over with your ex. If you're in a situation where you recently broke up with your partner and you want to give the relationship a second chance, I know it's very confusing. I know there's a lot of tips out there. There's a lot of things that you could be doing. You probably tried few things didn't work. In this video, I want just to consolidate everything you need to know if you want to give your relationship a second chance. We'll discuss about the approach and the strategies that I use with my clients, and also a little bit about your ex's psychology, understanding how you can adapt your actions, your sort of behaviors based on them. Jingle.
IGetMyExBack.com. Everyone deserves a second chance.
First of all, you have to understand that most breakups are definitive. And if you're watching this video, you're probably amongst the people where you know there's a potential, when you know you had something special, when you know it's not so much about the feelings, but it's about the dynamic of the relationship. Perhaps it's a life crisis, perhaps it's because of attachment clash. If you're not sure, and I don't want you to waste your time trying to recover a relationship where there's actually no chance of you getting back with your ex, take the quiz. It's totally free. There's a link in the description, and it will give you a score telling you whether you have a chance or not to get back with your ex. Now, because this is not a scam, this is I'm a therapist. The point is not to tell you if you have a high score, there's 100% guarantee that you're going to get back with your ex. Nobody can guarantee that. Okay, and if you hear anyone telling you, like, if you do this formula, if you follow this step, you'll get back together, be aware. This assessment is really to rule out the cases where you have actually no chances. So I cannot guarantee that you're going to get back with your ex, but in some cases, I can guarantee that there's no way for you to get back together. And sometimes we're a bit delusional, we're a bit, love makes us a little bit stupid or blind. And it's important to have sort of a rational view on your situation, and an assessment is the best way to have really like factual assessment of your situation. Now, whether you should get back with your ex or not, this is a question you need to ask yourself or need to answer yourself. I can't help you. Sometimes when I help my clients, they figure out after, working on their attachment style or working on their insecurities that they actually don't want that relationship, but I'm not making the decision for them. Okay? So sometimes we crave that relationship, we overvalue what we lost, and in the process of recovering the relationship, you might realize that actually that's not what you want now in your life. It's really personal. I can't make the decision for you, but it's part of the process of the recovery. So you have also to understand that you need to shift your attention to, I need this person in order to be happy in my life. No, that's not the point. You want to assess whether this person will meet your standards. And the whole point is about how you can raise your standards, how you can raise your expectations, how you can work on establishing new boundaries, for example, feeling more secure, being able to be more emotionally mature in the relationship. And then, only then, you'll be able to assess whether this person is the right person for you or not. If you recover the relationship from a place of fear or insecurities, and you feel like, oh yeah, I have this person, this is the prize, trust me, it's not going to work. And you're going to fail. Not fail, the relationship will fail again. So first of all, you have to assess the reasons behind the breakup. So assess why it lasted. So is it like something sudden? Is it out of a slow process? When it's sudden, it's very easy to recover. When it's a slow process, if your partner has been unhappy for 3, 4, 5 years, it's going to be very hard for you to recover from that, because it means you have to, in a way, the phase of recovery will be as long as the phase of them resenting you or feeling unhappy or feeling unsatisfied in your relationship. Is it internal factor, external factor? So internal factor is like, I don't love you, I've lost feelings for you. External factors is, it sounds like internal, but it's an external factor. Life crisis. The kids left the house. They have a change in job. They want to relocate, etc. This is an external pressure, and you become somehow a collateral damage of this movement, of this dynamic. And as I said, feelings versus attachment. So very often, lots of my clients, they're in the anxious avoidant trap that has nothing to do with feelings. And so you might be surprised to hear your ex telling you, I love you, I've never been with you, with anyone else like yourself. That's not English, but I've never felt like this before. And then the next week breaking up with you because it's too difficult for them, because they're avoidant and have a difficulty dealing with intimacy. Another thing you have to assess is what has changed since the breakup. So from your emotional state, from their situation, your behavior, actions, etc. It's very important because you can learn a lot about the dynamic after a breakup. And also, and maybe that's the most important one of all, is what needs to change. Your partner decided to end the relationship. Whether you agree or not on the reasons for them to break up, you have to work on them. People leave a relationship because they feel they can find something different or better, or they'll be happier alone. Implying that there's something is not working. Something is not up to what they expected, or something changed. So maybe at the beginning we were different, maybe things changed. Really assess what needs to change. Your ex will never, hear me out, this is very important. Your ex will never get back with you if things remain the same. It's all about change. If you do that work, if you address those things, you put all the assets on your side. In a way, there's a high probability that your ex is still in love with you. If you remove the problem, it's kind of a profit and loss. If you remove the problem and become a better person, or become the person they wished to date, then the problem is solved. Okay, that's on paper, right? Because people are more complex than that. But if you do that, you maximize your chances of getting back together. So it's important to understand and be strategic and tactical about what needs to change. So what are the resources, the support that you need to do that? Is it therapy? Is it coaching? Is it, I don't know, diet? Is it lifestyle? Is it about your career? There are many things that could be that you need to work on in different areas of your life. Now, there's something you also need to understand is you have to take it slow. It's very easy for me to give you this tip because I don't have feelings for that person. I am not in pain. I'm not heartbroken. And I don't constantly think about this person. But trust me, you have to accept and understand that the urge to reach out, the urge to get back together, the emotional response basically is not the right indicator of actions you should take. My job, most of my job when I work with my clients, is to force them to use the rational part of their brain. So when we're going through a breakup, it's very high in emotions, right? And those emotions forces us to take action, usually stupid actions. So reaching out, sending messages at midnight, drunk texting, showing up at their place, the kind of things that you regret after you've done it. So it's very important to understand that this idea of I need to get that person as quickly as possible is driven by your emotions and are not the right way to base your decision. What you have to do is to recreate a new dynamic, to regain a form of trust. So sometimes it's not because necessarily your ex lost trust in you, but they lost trust in the relationship. They lost trust in the idea that they could be happy or that you can function as a couple. And sorry to say, but in order to regain trust, it takes a bit of time, because the way you regain trust is by showing an alternative relationship, a new reality, consistently. So it's not by sending one letter. So some people feel like, oh yeah, I have this accountability letter, or I have this letter, this love letter, whatever, that would change the whole dynamic. No, that's not enough. And actually not necessarily a big fan of those letters. It's really about showing up, being true to yourself, and showing up several times that things can be different. And in a way, it's a little bit like, I don't have an example, but like many things in life, the slower, the stronger. And perhaps in the past, you guys broke up and got back together right away. Guess where it led? Exactly where you are. So the slower is because as you learn to create a new relationship, it takes a bit of time. It's new rules. new behaviors, new adjustments. And that takes time for both of you to work out this new relationship. And so if you've been together for 10 years and getting back together takes a year, that's nothing, right? If you know that this work, a year of readjusting, of reinventing that relationship will lead to an extra 10 or 20 years. Because the thing is, this breakup, if you recover the relationship from this breakup, your relationship will be stronger. That's a fact. If you do it properly, if you learn from this breakup, if you both are sort of driving the agenda of like, let's make it work, your relationship will be stronger. That's a fact. So a few facts. Nobody can guarantee whether you're going to get back together or not. Your ex will never get back with you if things remain the same. And if you get back together, your relationship will be stronger. Now, in the context of a breakup, it's important to maintain independence. And very often, I know my audience or the clients I follow, I help, they struggle with this idea of independence. This is why this breakup is actually very painful as well. It's because the idea of shifting from an entity, my life is my couple, my life is my relationship, to my life is being on my own. What should I do in my evenings? Who do I text when I feel sad? Who do I text when I'm happy, when I've been successful or promoted at work, right? So it's important for you to maintain hobbies, social circles outside of the relationship. This is important regardless if you get back together or not. If you get back together, it's important also to have different social circles. You can't be only relying on one person, on one partner. That's not healthy. This person might become the most important person in your life, but that shouldn't be the only person in your life. So it's very important for you to understand that. And now in this context of breakup, perhaps you're in no contact, maybe you're in touch with them. The priority is yourself. You're the most important person, and it's really about personal growth right now. This is an opportunity for you to learn things you didn't want to learn, to discover things you didn't know, to address some insecurities, things that, you didn't feel like working on. The pain of the breakup is actually sometimes a good driver to make changes. That's why I do that job. That's why I'm specialized in helping people dealing with breakups, because when I help people in that situation, I know they have the motivation to do the work. It's way easier for me to help people develop, for example, a secure attachment style after a breakup than if they just feel like, oh yeah, I'm not feeling great. Can you help me? You have no other options but to do it. The thing is, you can do it. Okay, it's just a question of focus, just a question of finding the right resources, the right support to do it. And accept that, that's the most important thing you have to do. It's not about your ex, it's not about the communication, again, it's not about the letters. No. Your responsibility, your only goal right now is, how can I grow from this? I know it's tough, I know it's painful, I know you don't have the motivation, I know you're tired, I know you're exhausted, but you have no other choice. So just do it, right? Listen to Nike, just do it. Now, another thing that you have to let go, sometimes you need to forgive, sometimes you need your ex to forgive as well. Also to forget. Accept that this relationship is dead. As I said, your ex won't get back with you if things remain the same. Your ex rejected that relationship. They didn't reject you. It felt like they rejected you. Usually when people break up with us, it feels like, okay, I'm not good enough. They rejected me as a person. And of course, I'm saying like you need to change, etc. They rejected the relationship. They rejected the dynamic. That's why many couples, when they break up, they still have feelings. And they will tell you like, I'm suffering. It's hard for me to speak with you. It's very hard for me to see you, because they're sad that this didn't work out. Very often you hear like, I'm sad it didn't work out. They don't tell you, I don't love you anymore. It's very rare to hear this. And so what you have to do is not trying to argue with their reasons or argue recessing and dwelling on the past, especially if you're getting in touch with them right after the breakup. The whole point is really about putting yourself into the present and to the future. We don't care about what happened in the past. The thing is, when something is broken and it makes sense, we want to analyze and reflect and come up with solutions like, oh yeah, I've done this, and this is what I could do. The thing is, you don't want to recess the past with your ex, because you will end up, the problem is that when you have that conversation with your partner, you will end up in some of a blame game. I've said that, no, you haven't. And that's not how you move forward. You move forward by just showing up. Showing your partner how mature you are, how you can establish new and healthier boundaries, how you can communicate effectively, how you can meet their needs. And really the idea and the mindset of like, let's move forward. It's in the past. We have had amazing memories and have had amazing times together. Let's move forward. Let's write the next chapter together. So mistake people make usually is like, oh yeah, they cling to the past and they try to bring their ex on their story, but they don't want this. So move forward, turn the chapter and move forward. Now, communication is obviously very important. Some people say people break up because of lack of communication. I don't think it's necessarily the case, but the communication comes after something that's, underlying problem. So it's usually the reflection of insecurities, right? When you're an avoidant, you don't communicate properly. You avoid things. You avoid conflict. You withdraw. And so people say, oh yeah, they have a communication problem. No. It's an attachment problem, right? And the manifestation of this attachment problem, of these insecurities, is communication, because communication is the only way where people can connect, right? For anxious people is the tendency to smother, to judge, to also be on their back, not respect independence, etc. And so what you have to understand is, okay, depending on your style, whether you're avoidant or anxious, learn how you can address your insecurities first. So if you're anxious, how can you develop a sense of independence? How can you accept not getting any reassurance, for example? Because that will drive the way you communicate. So if you look at texting, for example, if you don't know, or if you don't work on your insecurities, I can teach you how to be an effective communicator, but the way you will feel when you don't hear from the person, again, we're back to the feelings will drive actions. The way you will feel, this anxiety of not hearing from your partner or your ex for a few hours when you text them, will push you to spam them, to sort of vent, to be overly emotional, not respect their boundaries, right? Or even if you do, you'll feel different and you feel like really nasty feelings towards them. And that you don't want this, okay? So it's very important. Communication is the sort of the upper side of the iceberg. I often say that with couples is like, you don't have a communication problem, you have an empathy problem. To understand yourself, understand your partner, and adjust accordingly. Another thing that you have to do is to create new experiences together. So again, as I said, the old relationship is dead. So you have to create something new. And it could be about new lifestyle, new experiences. Yes, you have happy memories together, but let's create new ones, right? You have to understand that, and perhaps that's the case for you, and let me know in the comment section if that's the case for you. Most people, they overvalue the power of words. They think like, if I craft the right email, the right letters, and send the right message, I will influence my partner's decisions. I will influence the whole dynamic of the situation. But they fail to recognize now what really impacts the relationship is doing things together. It's as simple as that. And if you think about the memories you had with your partner, I'm pretty sure that 80% of the happy memories you had were when you were doing something. It's rarely like a conversation that you had and you remember, oh, I remember fondly about this conversation. No, you remember fondly about this weekend that you had together, this party when you laughed, these romantic places where you've been, etc., etc. This is what you have to build, okay? So don't focus too much on the words, especially if you're dealing with an avoidant. Avoidant prefer to do things rather than discussing things. So if your partner, if your ex is an avoidant, it's not by texting them, it's not by crafting the best email message that you're going to get back together, or that you're going to make them feel the desire to get back together or to start a new relationship. It's by doing things. It's by creating those happy moments. This is what will release oxytocin and dopamine from them. It's not a text. They receive a text, they won't be moved by a text. Seeing you, spending time with you, that's another story. That's way more powerful. So here's the deal. 10% of your time should be on reflection. And I know 90% of you, most of you, would spend 90% of their time on reflection, dwelling on the past. No, okay. Usually when I have a session with a client, maybe we do one session on the past and that's it. It doesn't matter, we can't change it. We can learn from it, but the learnings and insights, we can get them very quickly. The whole point is about action. It's about what you do now, what you're implementing now in your life to make it happen, to change, right? So my challenge is like, list out, and maybe let's do this. Let me know in the comment section so we feel a bit accountable to each other. Let me know in the comment section, what are you going to do this week to create a life, or to change, or to address, or to work on something that will maximize your chance to get back with your ex. It's a process, okay? And it's not a linear process. That goes like this, okay? You will have ups and downs. It's not a linear process, but it's a process. However, like any process, like any project, you have to start somewhere and you have to be strategic. Most people watching this video, I think, are confused because they don't have a plan. Right? It's very hard to have a plan and follow through. I'm not saying it's easy, but start with a plan. Stick to it. You'll see progress. For sure, you'll see progress. And if you have any questions or anything you want to ask me, let me know in the comment section. I hope that was helpful, and I'll see you next time. Ciao.